One of the biggest problems I see with people putting is we get frustrated, and that frustration comes from being inconsistent, and it costs us all kinds of problems. Well, in this video, I'm going to help you end that frustration by teaching you how to roll the ball the same way over and over and over again like the pros do. Because what we're going to do is open the vault and let you in on 6 things that professionals do and know that you either don't know, or if you do know, you don't do them. And if you'll apply what you learn in this video, it'll radically change your putting. Let me say before I launch into these 6 Pro Tour secrets, kind of open up the vault and let you into these, that each and every one of these 6 could be an individual video in and of itself. This is going to be a high-level overview. Good news for you is that on this channel and in coming things that we're doing, we're going to cover each one of these in great detail so you can pick out the ones you need to work on, and that'll help you. But let's get to it. The first one, number 1, is the tour pros have a very consistent putting routine. And when I talk about a consistent putting routine, I'm talking about on every putt, they have a pre-planned step-by-step routine. They do it the same exact way every time. And it's so precise, you can put a stopwatch and it will be within 1 to 1.5 seconds of the same exact amount of time every time. They've got a routine for how they walk around and read the green. They've got a routine for their practice strokes. Is it behind the ball, or is it when they step up to the putt for their practice strokes? They've got a routine for how many practice strokes they're going to take, how many looks back and forth with the ball. In fact, Tiger Woods talks about that often.
2 practice strokes, and on the second practice stroke, I look up, put my club down where I want the ball to start out at, 1 look, and then I'm gone.
Often, other professional golfers talk about that often, a consistent routine.
At the end. So when I stand here, I first practice stroke, look up the line, then look up the line again, look at the hole, see the ball go in, walk in, set the putter, take 1 look, and leave it short in the middle.
Now, as a part of that consistent routine, they also have a very consistent putting setup. It's always the same setup every time. And think about that and the reason for that. If I want to roll this golf ball the same way every time, then I have to hit it with the same part of the putter face every time. That affects how I stand and where I stand. I want to hit it slightly, ever so slightly, on the upstroke with a slightly de-lofted face so that it gets rolling instead of skidding or bouncing or hopping. To do that, I've got to set the ball position the exact same every single time and keep the putter face square every single time so the ball's in the same spot on my face. One of the things you don't realize is how much the pros drill on that. 2 years in a row, I volunteered at an LPGA event that comes to Vegas, and you go out before the round and the practice green, they have so many of those setup mirrors out there, it looks like a solar farm. Everybody using one of those mirrors to check their setup. I'll put a link in the video description to the mirror that I use. There's several really nice ones. But the professional golfers are meticulous about their setup. And they're checking things as part of their routine and setup, which is the second thing is setup, but part of their routine, their grip. If the ball is here, let's say on the ground, how do they step into it? Do they set up this way, or do they do what I do, which is then step into the putt? But they've got a very meticulous routine for that and their setup. And here they're checking, okay, ball position relative to eyes, relative to feet. Are my hands straight under my shoulders? Are my shoulders, knees, hips square and aligned with the target? The pros do that over and over and over again. And most of you, most amateurs, don't take advantage of that secret. They just walk up and go, oh yeah, here, let's make this putt. And the next time, and you watch these, you'll see them when you play with people, the next time they'll step in and set up this way. And it's not consistent. If you're not consistent with your routine and your setup, you're not going to roll the ball consistently on your target line. Think about what that does for you too, and this is a huge advantage that you don't even realize. If I've got a checklist in my head going, I do this, 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 now I stroke the ball. I'm so busy and my mind is so occupied with that checklist that I'm not distracted, or my brain isn't going, oh, this is the difference in first place or second place. It's an $8 million putt. I'm not distracted by that. Or it's another stroke, which is what it really is. It's another putt, and you do the same exact thing on every single putt. And those negative thoughts and pressure don't creep in and distract you. All right, third secret that the pros have that you don't is they are constantly growing in their ability to read the greens. More and more tour pros and hundreds of professional and college caddies and coaches and players are using the Tour Read green reading program that I use. It's used week in and week out. Ralph Bauer, who invented Tour Read, his players, his students on the PGA Tour are the ones who are leading in strokes gained putting. Reading the greens is critical. Most of us don't devote enough time and thought to that, and we need to. That's all I'll say on green reading. A fourth secret that tour professionals and high quality, low handicap golfers have over most of the rest of you is their putting always has a tempo and a rhythm. And what I mean by that is their backstroke, you can set a metronome or a musical, a piece of music or a clock to it, but on one beat, they start the stroke. On the next beat, they contact the ball, and it's the same beat over and over and over again. There's a rhythm and a tempo rather than I see so many people, and you watch the guys you play with, on one hole they'll putt really fast like this, the next hole it's like this, and it's so inconsistent. You watch the tour pros, there's the same tempo no matter the length of the backstroke and the through stroke, which they're using that combination of tempo and ratio distance to control the speed of the putt. We've recently done a video on that, so I won't talk about that anymore. The fifth secret that tour pros that you don't have, and this kills and hurts a lot of you, is a proper mental attitude about putting. And here's what I mean by that. Two pieces to the mental attitude. The first one is visualization. Part of their routine is always seeing the ball go into the hole.
The last part of the putt first, in a way. So like I'll read the first 5 feet, or the last 5 feet of the putt first, see where I want the ball to go in.
Specifically rolling in at a specific part of the hole. I often imagine the hole like a clock, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way around. And in my mind's eye, before I stroke the putt, I see it going up on my line, and because of the break or whatever, it's going in at 4 o'clock or 5:30 or 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. You learn to see that and visualize that in your mind's eye. Tiger Woods talked about his dad when he was a little boy and he couldn't get a concept of speed and distance control and line and matching those. Said his dad taught him to walk around the green, look at the putt, and take a picture, and then putt to the picture. He was teaching him to visualize and see the ball going into the hole. You'll be surprised at how much of an impact that has on making you more consistent. The second part of mental attitude is not getting frustrated and being patient. Because here's a fact, and most of you don't know this secret and can't separate the two. A good putt does not always go in the hole. You know, believe it or not, these golf balls are not all perfectly 100% balanced. Sometimes the ball has a heavy side. Sometimes there are imperfections in the green and you hit a perfect putt and it hits something and bounces or skids, slows down or goes right or left. That happens. So be patient with yourself. Don't make excuses, but be patient. Ask yourself, did I make a good stroke? Did I hit my target line? Did I hit the right speed? Did I read the green well? And fix whichever one of those caused it to miss. And if it wasn't one of those or you weren't absolutely perfect, be patient and keep working. Don't let your attitude get you frustrated and get you down. We all know those guys who get mad, stomp the ground, snap their putter, throw clubs and all that. That doesn't help you shoot lower scores. The sixth secret, and this is a big one, and you can apply this one instantly after you finish this video and use this one. It'll save you some strokes. It's practice and warm up with a specific goal in mind. I see so many people go out on the practice green before their round, and you do this too. We throw 3 balls down and we hit this ball and we hit that one. We're not really practicing with the purpose. The tour pros, when they go out, they've got a very specific drill that they're doing. They're working on something. Maybe it's rolling the ball straight up a target line. By the way, we got videos on the channel on how to do that. Maybe it's working on speed or distance control, but they're practicing with a very specific purpose. I put a lot of warm-up drills and things that I use and do on this channel. One of them, though, is always before I play around, I've got 1 ball out on the practice green. I'm not dropping 3 and hitting them. In fact, earlier this week, I was playing in a competitive event and I was out. I would go through my full routine in the warm. It took about 10 minutes before we played. Put a ball down, walk off the distance so I know the distance, use the tour read system that I do to calculate the percentage of slope, do the math in my head, choose a start line for so many inches right or left of the flag stick, trace that start line back to my ball, pick out an intermediate target, 8 to 10, 12 inches in front of my ball, go through my setup and the full routine, trying to roll the ball over that specific target and up that line and into the hole. And if I missed it, I'd walk up, go through the same full routine again and roll the ball into the hole. And somebody who was playing that day said, why are you just using 1 ball and going to all of that? And I said, well, when I get out on the course in about 5 minutes, I'm going to have 1 ball and I've got to read the green and make the putt. And I'm here to warm up for that. But I'm warming up with intention and purpose. So the pros do some things that you don't do. They work on a consistent putting routine. They spend a lot of time perfecting their setup. They work on green reading. They have a really strong mental attitude and understanding about that. They practice with a purpose. They warm up with a purpose. And they practice, drill, and rehearse a rhythm and tempo so that their putting is consistent. And if you do those things, you will be able to consistently roll the ball on your intended target line and you'll hole more putts. If you like holing more putts and you like more information on any of these topics that we covered, then you ought to subscribe to this channel. By the way, if you'll shoot us an email, we're working on an online putting mastery course that will include details on all 6 of these tips and tons of other information that will make you a much better putter. Shoot me an email. I'll include you in the advanced planning and let you have some input into what goes into that, and it'll also save you some money when that course comes available. And in the meantime, there's a video here on the screen you can check out that'll help you make more putts, and here's to you doing exactly that.